Hi, I'm Kim.
I'm Terry.
And we are
Two Big Women on a Couch.
And again, we thank you for being here for our weekly series. Our topic today is perception.
And I really think that perception can be harmful to people. And we know that large or plus-size people have had false judgments for a long, long time. We don't want to pretend that there aren't issues about being large.
Oh, absolutely. There's some big issues, actually, associated with that. Diabetes, heart disease, things of that nature.
Stroke, cancer has been linked to being overweight and obese. But we also think that there's perceptions that the world may have on us that we don't hold. One of them, for example, would be that all large people or plus-size people are lazy.
And like, how many jobs do we hold?
Yeah, exactly.
How many things do we do?
How many
things are we involved in?
I know that we're both involved in the community with volunteer organizations.
Absolutely.
We both sit on nonprofit boards. You have a full-time job. I have a full-time job. We have families.
Family, pets, all kinds of things that we do. Absolutely, right? So nothing lazy about us or other folks that are
large or plus size.
Absolutely.
So I think there is a case where perception can really hurt, and I think we both have examples in our life of where perceptions really hurt us.
Let me share mine, because mine was a big deal. Now I've always been at the top of my game. Been
Absolutely.
Executive director of nonprofit organizations and done some things extraordinary in terms of my career and things like that, right? So I was running an organization, and I'd been running that organization for about 5 years or so, when the board came to me and said, we want you, for your evaluation this year, to bring us a physical, to have a physical and bring us documentation of your physical. I was blown away by that. I'm like, you want me to bring you documentation of my physical?
Did they do that to everybody
on the board? No, they didn't do that for anybody on the staff or what have you. Not at all. And I thought, well, maybe they thought maybe there was something going on with maybe, I don't know, drugs, or I don't know what they were thinking, but they wouldn't tell me exactly what it was that was their issue. I found out later that it was because of my size that they were concerned. Nobody talked to me about that. They just assumed that I would hand over my medical records to them on demand, and it was very disturbing to me. So this very board chair, the one who had kind of concocted this and sort of made this up that I needed to do this, I had never been in her vehicle before, ever. And I had an opportunity to get into her SUV, and I stepped in the SUV, and it smelled like smoke. I mean, it was from top to bottom full of smoke. And I said to her, I said, you smoke? Because she was well put together. She was thin, she looked good, she was well put together, but she was a chain smoker. And so here she was pushing all these things on me, making me have these physicals, and here she was, this chain smoker. It was a big deal for me. It was like, so she had this perception that I wasn't healthy. I had a perception that she was extremely healthy. Like I said, she looked good, she was tall, thin, looked good, and I'm sure her lungs were just as black as perhaps my top today.
Yeah, well, and that there's extreme health issues around that, and were they asking her to provide them with that documentation?
Exactly. So
really a place where perception can not only hurt you, but I even wonder how legal that was.
Well, and it could have actually perhaps cost me my career, because I did not, jump on that demand for them. I never did give them my medical records.
Nor do I think you should.
Here's the deal. I take my physicals every year, but that's my business. That's me and my doctor's business.
Exactly.
Now I know that you've had some things happen to you.
I have.
You've had some things.
I've had some things happen, and one particularly stands out to me is those that happen in a gym. I think we all have perceptions when we see people walking in and out of a gym. Myself as well as others. I was a trainer for several years in a gym and really pushed myself to work hard, as well as pushed other members to work hard as well. And I would always have a perception when I would see young women coming in who were in their 20s, early 20s, maybe late teens, very thin, and what I perceived to be very fit, attractive just at the height of their youth and their beauty. And yet they would get on the machines to work out.
Couldn't push it up, could they?
Not at all. They had no strength, no muscle tone. And I know that they would look at me and say, oh, this old fat lady, what can she do? And I would get on and really train hard.
You'd work it out, Terry.
I really could work it out, and I would really pride myself on my strength. But I think here's where the perception came, is that you're very unfit because of your size. You're not strong. You're not able to walk around with strength in this world. And my perception being that because you're small, because you're youthful, you are fit and strong. And I think both of those perceptions can really be can really be wrong and really harm us both from getting to know each other and accepting each other.
That's the thing. We miss the opportunity to really get to know someone when we sort of have these assumptions and these assumptions based on what we perceive, what we see. We miss an opportunity to really get to know folks. You know?
Yeah, I think it can really be harmful.
It can be detrimental. I could have lost a career over it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
mm-hmm. and I could have lost many friends, and I think both are important. But I think it would be really good to hear what our community thinks about that, and how they feel about perception, and how it's maybe harmed them in their life, or ideas they have in combating
that's the
perception.
Key, is also helping us to figure out how do we combat that? How do we get the word out? How do we spread the message that it can be very harmful? What do we do? So I agree. Let's see if our members would be willing to maybe blog about it, or
share your ideas. Talk to us about it. We'd really like to know, because we think that this is an important topic.
Absolutely. But before we move on with anything else, I'd like to share my thing. I call it the Funhouse Mirror Syndrome, right? And I remember when you were a kid and you went to the amusement park, and you'd see like the mirror that make you look tall and the one that make you look fatter or white or whatever, and it's like a lot of fun, right? It was really a lot of fun. And so sometimes it comes down to sort of self-perception. I remember it was really fun as a kid when I would do that. Then one time I walked into a dressing room, not really thinking. I mean, I thought I was the same size. I really hadn't paid attention to how much weight I gained and stuff. And it was not a Funhouse mirror at the time. And that was something that I personally had to kind of deal with. I was like, wow, this is like the real mirror here and so forth. Sometimes self-perception is something that
absolutely.
Do you want to comment on?
Oh yeah, I do, and I really think that happens a lot where you have significant weight gain or loss. Because believe me, I'm a size 2 in this body, and I live my life like that. And when I have lost a significant amount of weight, it's interesting that oftentimes I would walk by a reflection in a glass or in a mirror, and I wouldn't recognize who that person was, because I was still having the self-perception on the outside that I still was a large person, but really I was small. And I think that happens in both directions. So I think we can really have self-perceptions that can really damage us as well. And I think until you can really get your head wrapped around that, and about really who you are, and about how you perceive yourself, both inside and out, you're not comfortable with the body you have, or with that perception that you have of yourself.
So maybe in one of the upcoming episodes, we'll talk about how to sort of build your self-esteem and how to develop your perception and so forth, and walk in this world. And that might be a topic, and we would certainly really welcome folks to help us with that topic.
Oh, absolutely.
It's really important.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you, Terry. I'm Kim.
I'm Terry.
And we are
Two Big Women on a Couch.
Thank you.